I think we just need to start with the high five. I think we could all really use the serotonin of a good high five right now. So if you don't know the drill, I'm gonna count down from 3 and then I'm gonna put my hand up to the screen and you're gonna put your hand up to the screen and we're gonna high five, okay? So 3, 2, 1. Now if you're new here and you're like, why am I hitting my screen with my hand right now? It's because you don't know it yet, but you fucking love it. And I know that because everyone who came before you, maybe not everybody, but a good portion of people who have come before you really love high-fiving virtually. I did it for the first time in a video that I posted towards the beginning of the year, and that video went viral, which, like, thank you, YouTube gods, stay blessed. And so many people commented saying that they loved the high five. So I brought it back for my fall reset video a few weeks ago, and again, the people loved it. And I was like, I don't want to do the high five too much. You know, I've got to keep it a little elusive, a little exclusive. And so I was like, is it too soon to do the high five again? And then I thought, you know what? November, it's been a little terrible, a little horrible. On the scale from terrible to horrible, it's both. It's everything in between and around it. It's been bad. So I could use a high five. I'm gonna do it for myself, and I hope that it's just also nice for you as well. So I'm gonna do another one just in case you missed that first one. So get ready and boom. Anyways, we are at the end of the year. It is time for holiday and hibernate mode, and I thought I would just share with you guys some of the things that I do as part of my winter reset. These are things that I do to get my life, get my brain ready for the holidays, for seasonal depression, for the cold, for the darkness. But they're things that I do to try and make it so I can fully enjoy this season, instead of getting caught up in the consumerism and just all the busy frantic, oh my god, what is the word that I'm trying to say? Frantic? Hectic? Erratic? There's a word that starts with an F. Frantic. That's the word that we were going for. It took us an embarrassingly long time to get there. But all right, so that's what we're gonna do in this video. So let's jingle those bells. Let's deck the hall. Let's roast that chestnut. Let's slay the holidays. Okay. All right, so the number one thing that you want to figure out for winter is what your cozy hobbies are going to be, because these are going to keep you sane. And the key to a good cozy hobby is that it is challenging enough to be satisfying, but not so challenging that it makes you want to cry. Bonus points if you can sit while doing it, and extra bonus deluxe points if you can do it while sitting inside by a fire. All right, so my cozy hobbies include, number 1, puzzling. I love a good jigsaw puzzle, okay? It keeps my hands busy, gives me something to do. It makes it so that I can actually sit and watch a full movie, because if I just sit on the couch and watch a movie without anything else to keep me occupied, 99% of the time I end up on my phone, and 1% of the time I end up asleep, and 0% of the time do I watch the whole movie. But puzzles give me something that I can do, something I can focus my energy on while still allowing me to listen and watch and hear what's going on in the film. And puzzles are great because they're cheap. You can find them at Goodwill, and I know you're like, oh, if I get them at Goodwill, what if they don't have all the pieces? They usually have all the pieces. I say as someone who's bought a plethora of puzzles from Goodwill. Typically, the only reason they end up not having all the pieces is because Goose silently eats them off of our table in the night. It's not the fault of the person who gave it to Goodwill. You can also find them on Buy Nothing groups a lot of the time. Just go on Facebook, search Buy Nothing group, join the one that's local to you. Read all the rules first, because sometimes they have weird rules and you want to make sure you don't break them, otherwise you'll get kicked out. But yeah, join that and then post something being like, I'm searching for puzzles, and then somebody will probably be like, oh my god, that's amazing because I have 3,000 puzzles that I've been hoarding for the past decade of my life. Please come take them from me. And then you'll go take them from that person, maybe not all of them, maybe like 3 or 4. And then you'll do the puzzles and you'll have a great time. That's exactly what's gonna happen. Knitting or crocheting is another fantastic cozy hobby. You do have to be careful with that one because it can make you cry when you're first starting out. I say from personal experience. But once you actually get the hang of it, it can be one of the coziest of hobbies because not only is it cozy whilst you're doing it, but it's also cozy once you have your finished product because you usually, wear the sweater or the hat or whatever you made, or it's a blanket. I'm making a blanket right now. So you put it on yourself. Either way, you put it on your body and you're cozy when you're done with it. So it's like double cozy. Crossword puzzles make another great cozy hobby. Scrapbooking. Coloring is wonderful. If you have an iPad, I definitely recommend downloading a coloring book app. It's actually even more satisfying on an iPad than on an actual coloring book because no matter which way you color the lines, it's all one. There's no mismatched patterns. Unless you like that, then maybe you like the coloring book better. Who am I to say which one is better? Another one that has the potential to make you cry, air dry clay. I personally want to get more into this one. I made some air dry clay ornaments last year and it was very fun, and I'm sure there's thousands of other things you can make with air dry clay, so I would like to do more of that. And it just seems a little bit less intimidating than actual pottery and also less expensive. It's basically just like Play-Doh, but more acceptable for adults to use. Also, cozy gaming. Personally, I haven't been into video games since I was like 11, but we got a Switch last year, and by we got a Switch, I mean I got David a Switch for Christmas, and I'm actually the one who uses it the most. We bought Animal Crossings for it, or Animal Crossing, is there an S at the end, or no? I don't like adding unnecessary S's to the end of things. But we got that game, and I played it, and I was like, wow, this is relaxing. Is this what relaxation feels like? Also, The Sims, another very relaxing one. I played that for a little bit during COVID. I might get back into it. But yeah, so just don't underestimate what playing a children's video game as a fully grown adult can do for your mood. Now, when I say set up your winter ambiance, I don't just mean decorate, though you certainly can. I actually highly recommend it because what a fairy light can do for your mood is actually amazing. But this is also your reminder that you do not need to go overboard with decorations. Okay, what you already have is fine. It's perfect, actually. What you find at the thrift store is amazing. Make sure to switch up your book or your record displays to go with the winter aesthetic. Switch up your photos, get the girls together, get the kids together, make some ornaments, make some garland, and make some memories at the same time. Okay, and all of that is amazing. The decoration is amazing, but my literal favorite way to add seasonal ambiance lately, and this is going to be very anticlimactic, is to put a seasonal ambiance YouTube video on my TV. Okay, if you haven't done it, try it. Go on YouTube, search holiday ambiance, winter ambiance, whatever phrasing tickles your fancy, and find a cozy scene with a crackling fire sound, perhaps a light breeze, perhaps some light jazz, or some heavy jazz, if that is your preference. And then just let the mood wash over your soul. I promise you it will be life-changing. You'll be addicted in a good way, not like to drugs, like the way that people are addicted to adopting puppies. Literally, I can't sit and read without it now, and it's great because the videos will usually just go for like 7 hours. It's a little jarring when there's an ad break because you're reminded that you're not actually in a tranquil cabin in the woods, but other than that, they're really lovely. Okay, there's a lot of things that suck about being an adult, but one of the top 5 has to be knowing, the truth about Santa, which is that he's very, very real. So real, it's too much to handle. It's very difficult. I miss the magic of childhood holidays so much. It used to be cookies and crafts and songs and flying reindeer and toys and waiting in line to sit on an old man's lap. And now it's just like I gotta dodge old men who want me to sit on their lap, and like hopefully I get a good deal on this kitchen electronic, and hopefully there's a good cheese platter at this party, and hopefully everyone's still alive. The holidays start getting very morbid as you get older. But you know, you can either accept the soul-crushing reality and spend your whole holiday season running away from scary old men, eating lactose, browsing Cuisinart, and having existential thoughts, or you can try to make it a little magical. David and I do this by trying to do a special winter date every year. So we'll spend the day doing some sort of winter activity like ice skating or something, and then we'll go get lunch at a cozy pub, and then we'll come home, hang out, and get dressed up to go for a nice dinner date. And it's really one of my favorite dates of the year because it's a nice time for us to just reflect on the year together and talk about what we want to do or focus on in the new year. And it really does just feel kind of magical. I mean, not as magical as Santa, but you know, pretty close. So try to plan something like that, whether it's with your friends or your family or your partner or even just on your own. Just try to plan something that makes you forget about the consumerism and the scary men and the morbid thoughts and all the cheese, and makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside instead, which, to be fair, could involve cheese. So those are not mutually exclusive. So going outside in the cold is the absolute worst for me. Maybe not for you. If that's the case, I assume you have a different genetic marker or something than I have. Or that you're a robot. Or you're a dog. Because dogs fucking love going out in the cold. It's like you wake up, it's snowing out, the windows are frosted, and you're like, wow, what a great day to not leave my heated home at all. I love living in the first world. And then your dog comes in and he's like, hey, what if we started living outside today and for the rest of forever, for all of our lives? What if we lived outside? What if instead of 2 poops today, I do 17? Let's just see how close we can get you to frostbite, my human who takes care of me and does everything for me and without whom I would probably be dead. My point is, for me, it goes like cleaning the toilet, getting a pap smear, going outside in the cold. I really hate it. But I have found one thing that makes it slightly more enticing, and that's having winter clothing that I'm actually excited about wearing. Like if I'm gonna put on a coat and boots for 107 days straight, then they should at least be a coat and boots that don't make me feel like an ugly burnt marshmallow that's frozen. Like a frozen ugly burnt marshmallow. That's not what I want to feel like. So over the past few years, I've invested in a few different coats that I actually really like wearing. And it does in fact entice me to leave the home more often in the winter. And I know coats can be expensive. My heavy duty one was quite an investment, but I do live in Chicago, so I will get plenty of use out of it. But a lot of my other coats I got secondhand on Depop for under $50. So just think about it. If you have trouble getting yourself to leave the house in the winter, if you walk around feeling like a burnt, ugly, frozen marshmallow, then consider investing in some nicer winter clothing or winter outerwear, so that not only will you feel warm when you're going out in the winter, but you'll also look warm. And by warm, I mean hot, like aesthetically hot. You might not look aesthetically hot in a puffer coat. It's really, really hard to do that, but you'll feel like you look good. You'll be warm and you'll feel good about yourself while being warm. Ow! Ow! Fucking tits! Okay, walk it off. Walk it out. You know, sometimes you just are standing right at your counter that you stand at every day and you forget where it is. Stretch it out. All right, we're back in business. Okay, so 2 things on the topic of recipes. First is that if you don't already have your signature holiday recipe figured out, let's work on that. This is gonna be the thing that you bring to every holiday party you go to. And it should not be cookies, unless it's a very unique cookie or you're winning awards for your cookies. It should not be cookies, and it should especially not be sugar cookies. I can't speak for everybody, but I'm going to anyways. People are tired of sugar cookies by like December 5th. Every parent is bringing in sugar cookies that their kid decorated, being like, look at these cookies Jonathan decorated. Isn't he so artful? Isn't he so talented? Doesn't he have such a great eye? And it's like, Jonathan painted this reindeer yellow and it's got 3 mouths. So he's got an eye for something, but it is not accuracy. So you want to find an easy, somewhat unique treat that you can easily whip up in bulk to bring to parties, to give to your neighbors, to give to your doorman, to give to your garbage man, whatever. And mine is Oreos. I just take them out of their container, put them in a cute box, and hand them out. No, that's not true. That's really lazy. I'm gonna need a little more effort from you than that. My signature treat is Oreo balls. Super easy to make. I have yet to meet anybody who doesn't like them, and maybe now they'll become more popular because I'm a super famous YouTuber and everyone wants to be like me, so obviously they're gonna want to make my signature treat. But typically, I don't run into other people who are also bringing Oreo balls. Sorry, I got really caught up in making my Oreo balls and forgot that I promised you guys a second thing on the topic of recipes. And that thing is, get yourself some soup cubes. You guys know I would never tell you to buy something you don't need, but you need the soup cubes. Because there will be time in the winter where you're like, I do not want to cook. Would rather die than cook right now. Also, don't want to pay $25 to get a $15 meal delivered to me. So, what are my options? Well, if you don't have soup cubes, you can either starve or starve. That's it. Those are the options. So what you're gonna do to avoid that is you're gonna take your soup cubes, and in advance of the days where you feel like you would rather die than cook, you're gonna make a soup or a stew or a pasta, and you're gonna put it in the soup cube. I know it's called a soup cube. I actually don't know if it actually is called a soup cube. That's just what I call them. So it's really just a silicone freezer tray, but that doesn't sound as fun as a soup cube. So I'm sticking with it. Anyways, on a day where you feel like cooking, you're gonna cook something, a stew, a pasta, a soup, you understand that part. You're gonna cook that, you're gonna put it in your soup cube, and you're gonna freeze it. And then on the days where you feel like a lazy piece of shit, you're gonna go to your freezer, you're gonna pop out one of your soup cube meals, you're gonna heat it up on the stove, and you're gonna enjoy a nice, hearty, comforting meal. You're welcome. Also, this is not an ad for soup cubes. I'm just speaking from the heart. So there are gonna be days, dark, cold days, where you wake up in the winter and you're like, I don't want to participate in life today. I don't want to get up. I don't want to get up. Ghost, can you just do my job for me today? I know generational wealth is somewhat problematic, but sometimes I wish I was just born into that shit. I thought it was Wednesday and it's only Tuesday. Things just got way worse. Being awake is awful. What if instead of the 4-day work week, we make it the 4-hour work day? I don't want to get up. I'm not going to get up. They can fire me. I don't care. I need to make money. They can't make me get up. And on those days, it's good to have your bare minimum list ready to go. It's gonna look different for everyone, just depending on your lifestyle. But for example, for me, on a day where I'm working from home and I'm working for myself, my bare minimum list would probably look like eating breakfast, washing my face, answering any time-sensitive emails, and that's kind of it. I'll probably skip showering. I will probably skip taking Goose out, at least in the morning, if David is able to take him instead. I'll probably skip exercising. I definitely won't be doing any filming or writing that day. Instead, I'll be doing very low energy tasks. Things like data entry, updating my budget, paying bills, rough cutting a video, so like not doing like really intricate editing, but just getting rid of the ums and the awkward silences, which there's a lot of. If you watch this uncut, you'd be like, wow, she's the most uncomfortable person I've ever witnessed. But yeah, basically tasks that are kind of boring to do, but don't take much mental effort, and they do ultimately need to be done. Those are the things I'm doing on my low energy days. It's my way of recharging without feeling like I'm falling behind and therefore becoming subject to the anxiety that comes along with that feeling of falling behind. Honestly, I think especially in the winter, we need those days where we're like, okay, I'm doing the bare minimum today, and that is okay. If you're doing the bare minimum every day, there might be a slightly bigger problem, and maybe we should look into getting some help for that. Therapy, talk to a friend, something. But having a bare minimum day once or twice a month, or even once a week, honestly, especially in the winter, I think can be very good for the soul. So this is the season of giving, as they say, and I think it's really important to embrace that. One, because it's good to help people, and two, because it'll make you feel good about yourself, you selfish little rat. I'm just kidding. You're obviously not a rat. You're a selfish little human, just like me. Truly, it is known that doing things for other people makes you feel good. It kind of reminds me of that episode of Friends where Phoebe is trying to prove to Joey that a truly selfless good deed does exist, but like she's not succeeding in that because every good deed she does, there's something in it for her, even if it's just feeling good about herself. But I don't think that's something to feel guilty about. At the end of the day, doing something good for somebody else, it helps the other person, it makes them feel good, it makes you feel good, and I really think we just need more good in this world. So try to take some time to do something good for somebody else. You can participate in an angel tree program where if you have the means, you can buy the gifts for a family who may not have the means to buy gifts this season. You could just shovel snow off of your neighbor's driveway. You could pay for somebody's coffee. You could go volunteer at an animal shelter. It can honestly be as big or as little as you want it to be. And obviously you can do things for others all year round, but I think it's just very easy to get caught up in your own shit and forget to think about other people. As bad as that sounds, I think it happens to most of us more than we'd like to admit. So now is just a good time to stop, slow down, and be very intentional about it during this season. I think it's just a good reminder that at the end of the day, we are all just human beings trying to exist and protect the people that we care about and enjoy the little glimmers that life has to offer. Except for the bigots, racist, and sexual abusers, they can all go fuck off because they don't deserve the glimmers. All right, so that seems like a super great note to wrap up on. There's definitely other things you can do to reset for winter. I actually think a lot of the things that I talked about in my fall reset would be very applicable to a winter reset as well. I just didn't want to repeat myself and bore you to death. So watch that one too if you want some more ideas and just like pretend that it's wintry and not as orange. But I hope you feel ready for the winter season and the highs and lows that come with it, and I hope that you are extra kind to yourself during the lows. If you enjoyed this video and even the slightest bit, I would love if you could subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and you can count it as doing something for someone else, you know, if you're like really loose with your requirements for that. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. And happy non-denominational holidays. Happy all the holidays. All of the holidays, I hope that they're happy for you and your family and everyone you love. And I hope they're bad for everyone you hate.